Mhm. Can you hear me? The microphone. Mm. Parker, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
perfect. Okay. Awesome. How's it going?
Good, I guess. I just come into work every day and just not get as much done as I want because I get caught up in other stuff. And then
I'm sorry. I know. Wendy, you're upside down. What the heck? How are you doing that?
I don't know how mine is upside down. Anyone have any suggestions?
Um,
turn your computer upside down.
I know, right? Let me go to video settings.
yeah.
I'm going to turn it off until I can figure that. Hold on.
You're okay. There's
Ah,
Carolina. There's Julie. Nope.
this thing is so goofy.
Is it on upside down? Like, is your camera on? Like, flip it around?
No, it's just it's the
That's weird.
it's into my
Oh,
oh, here we go.
okay. There you
There we go.
go. Okay.
Yay, look at me. All right.
All right. Hi, everybody. So, Bianca, did you want me to go ahead? I'm sorry, I stepped in a little bit late, so I don't know if you
Yeah.
had said anything.
No, we were just talking amongst ourselves.
Okay. So today we're going to continue with our training outline, and we'll go over a few of the forms that we have for goods and services, IT hardware, hospitality, and direct pay. So that we should be able to cover hopefully all of it. I believe we have a 2 hour window. So if we get close to that time and for some reason we need to cut it short, then we'll just do that. Um, so go ahead and share my screen for you all. And you could either follow along with your screen too, or just watch on here. Uh, okay, so um, did you want to put the box folder in the chat?
I'm working on it right now.
Working on it? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you,
You're welcome.
Bianca.
Hmm.
Okay. So I'm trying to get back to that box folder. So I think this is it right here. Okay. So we'll first start with goods and services, unless anybody else wants to see a different form to go first. If not, then we'll go ahead and are you able to see the dashboard right now, or are you looking at my
We see the
Outlook?
dashboard. You're
You do?
good.
Okay. Okay. So to get to the goods and services form here on the shopping homepage, we'll be scrolling down under this section that says showcases. The first one here, these are all the forms that we have. Goods and services forms, the sample that we're doing is furniture order. So Bianca should be putting that link in the chat if she didn't do so already. And we'll do a Sierra school equipment order.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Sure.
Just because I'm new on this. So on the
Uh-huh.
showcases, that's the type of form, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
perfect. Thank
Okay,
you.
no problem. Um, any other questions? Okay, so we'll go ahead and when you click on these forms, I'm just going to go back so you can take you back one step. Each of these forms that you click on, once you click on it, you'll have some instructions that basically tells you what some examples that you should be using this form for and what you're not supposed to be using it for. So you'll just click on the next button to take you to the next tab. So each one of these is like a tab, instructions, suppliers, form fields, and the final review and submit. So this one we're doing Sierra school equipment. So I'll just type in Sierra in that supplier box or whatever supplier name that you're,
Julie,
yes.
can you just team to me that link really quick? Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, the link?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, where to go? Copy. Okay, I put it in the chat. Um, are you
So,
all able to see it?
Julie just put a link, a box link into the chat. So basically what this box link is, you guys, is if you click on it, it has the P2P training outline that was attached to your meeting invite the other day. So we are starting on uh agenda item number 9, and then it has basically a quote that we're going to go over. So it has a quote for goods and services, a quote for direct pay, a quote for IT hardware requests, and a quote for hospitality. So if you want to open the quote for goods and services, it's a quote that Julie will be entering, so you can kind of like look at the quote she's entering into P2P and follow along. It'll help you understand like what she's doing as she's entering into P2P, and it'll just make the process a little bit more cohesive. Sorry, Julie, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to explain like what the box folder was,
Mhm.
so they understand like what we're doing as we're doing the training.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Thank you yeah,
Uh-huh.
thank you
Do
so
you
much.
do you guys have any questions about the box folder or like what we're doing before Julie starts? Good. Okay, go ahead, Julie. I will be quiet.
Okay, okay. So as you're entering this, one thing that I noticed I did not do is what you should do every time, turn on your shopping persona before you start. So this sample, I believe, will just do one for BKXMP. So now I have my shopping persona on. You can see on the left-hand side of the screen, the little blue circle that shows my shopping personas on. And I can look up the supplier that I want to use. It does come up at the bottom, so I just select them. Now it shows that I selected them up here. Press next. What type of goods or services are you requesting? And so on here, I believe we're doing furniture. It's not a blanket order. So every place that there's a question, at the end of the question, if there's a star, that means the response is required. So I'm going to go ahead for the sake of time is just trying to answer questions that have a star. Um, so it does not have a start and end date. Then I'll scroll through. It is not a sole source. And here you want to provide a brief justification of why you're making this purchase. So here I'll just say chair order for CSUB staff. Is it for an on-campus location? Yes. Let's see. Does the furniture request require installation? No. Next. You don't have to press save, but it doesn't hurt if you do. So here, this is an $846 item. So here you'll put the unit price. I do have a quote to attach. The quantity is one because I'm buying one chair. So here's each, and then I could just copy and paste whatever the description is. Um, so just copy and paste right there what it is. You don't have to put anything in the catalog number if you don't know it or it's not a required field, so we could just leave that and then click next. So in this case, we have only one item on this quote. So we would click this red button next, add and go to cart. However, if we did have two items, then I would click the drop down menu and put save to cart and add another so I can create a second line on my requisition. So for this example, we only have one item. So I'm just going to do what we would do normally, and it's pressing add and go to cart because there's only one item. It's spinning. Okay, so once I finish filling out the form, it takes me to this page. It's the shopping cart page. So here you can rename the cart. So this is basically giving the title to your requisition. So I would probably put the reference that's on the quote. It says student services, building, room 106, ergo chair. And then here I would put the deliver to location. So it said 106. Let me see if anything comes up. Okay, we'll just say it's this one, classroom building 106. Okay, so I'll scroll down to see if everything is here. It has the furniture commodity code. It has the description. So this is everything. Um, for some reason, I have two lines
Yeah, I
instead of
think you
one.
got, I think it added it twice. That's fine. We can show them how to delete
I'm
it.
like, how did I do that? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's see, I can delete the second one. I believe I can delete it right here by
Mhm.
pressing this check mark and then this drop down arrow, remove selected items.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. So now I'm back to one. I have one item. Okay, so now that I finished the shopping cart page, here's the dollar amount, here's the sales tax. I'll press the next button. It's proceed to checkout. Now the shopping cart is turned into a requisition. So here on the requisition is where you will put the chart field strings. So if you scroll down all the way to the bottom on the left-hand side, thank you, Bianca. This is where you can enter your chart field string. So you could just edit there, add these in. The account number section automatically filled in based on the commodity code. And I'll save this. Okay. Um, Other than that, all I'd have to do is attach my quote. So I'm just going to put anything that I have in here for now, just for this example. When I attached it here, you could see that the document's now part of this requisition. Okay, so if you want to do any notes to the supplier, you can add them here in the external notes section. If you want to add internal notes, you can add them in this section. And internal notes is meaning for campus use and view, not for the supplier. Um, if you want to change the taxable, you could change it by clicking this pencil. Anywhere there's a pencil, that's basically an edit button. Um, Other than that, I have no errors. On the right-hand side, it says summary, and there's a purple ribbon. On this right-hand side is where it would show an error message if I couldn't proceed. But since everything is fine, I'll just press the submit request button. So here, this is what notification you get once you submit your request. I can go back into the requisition, and you could see the workflow as Bianca was training you all last time we met. It shows basically where the requisition is going now. So since this is going to Dr. Rodriguez, I'll just withdraw this since it's just a test.
So it's showing that it's going to Dr. Rodriguez only because of the chart field string that she used.
Yes. So when you withdraw your requisition, this ribbon turns brown, and now it's null and void. So you can't do anything else with this requisition. If for some reason you did want to do something with it, the only thing you can do with it is click these three buttons at the top right, and you could copy it to a new cart. Um, that is basically taking all the information except for the attachments and the chart field strings and putting it onto a new requisition. So it saves you some time from having to re-enter it all over again if there was just a few things you needed to change. Is there any other questions about the goods and services request form? No?
I
Eh,
do want to just say that we did build in certain workflows. So I don't know if you noticed that on the workflow for that chair that it said facilities review. So anything that has the commodity code of furniture will automatically go to facilities review. We built that in just because we wanted facilities to be aware of any furniture that is being ordered for campus, just because, like, if you guys are ordering like cubicles or anything that needs to be like mounted to a wall, anything like that, facilities needs to know about it beforehand. When we do an IT hardware request, you're going to see that that's going to have an IT review workflow step. So there are specific workflows that are automatically built Um, in certain situations. So IT has a workflow, facilities has a workflow, um, environmental or safety and risk has one. Like if you're buying chemicals, that will automatically go to what's called EH&S workflow. Um, and those just are will automatically flow through. Um, just because there's certain like checks, like chemicals, like Elizabeth Powers has to check those things. So that's another reason why like a lot of departments like P2P because those workflows are automatically built in for you. Um, so I just wanted to speak on that because I know people like I know that as we go through this, you're going to be like, well, why is that just going to facilities? Why is that going to IT? It's specifically for that reason because IT has to check all the hardware and software that we're ordering on campus, so that's just automatically built in as part of P2P. Sorry, just wanted to throw that in there too. Go ahead,
yes.
Julie.
Okay. So if there's no more questions on the goods and services form, we can go to the next one. It's up to you if you want to do IT hardware, hospitality, or direct pay first. Is there any preference? No?
I guess I have a question.
Yeah.
Um, we're going through this requisition process.
Mhm.
Would it like when would we do this rather than like putting it on a pro card? And this seems much more complicated than putting it on a pro card. So what's the
Um,
differences like when do you do pro card and when do you do this? Uh, are there rules around that? I know
Good
there's a whole
question.
pro card handbook that says a bunch of stuff.
Mhm.
But not having digested that whole thing or memorized it,
Mhm.
um, I don't see why buying an office chair and going through this process would be more advantageous than just putting it on a pro card, you know.
Do you want to take that
I was just
question,
gonna say
Bianca?
you're gonna want me to take that. Okay. So, all furniture, because I get where you're coming from. You're thinking like, why do I have to go through all this to buy a chair? Okay. All furniture has to be vetted by procurement. You cannot buy furniture on a pro card just because furniture procurement has to vet furniture for ergonomic purposes. So it has to be purchased through vetted vendors. Um, so that's why you can't buy any chairs or any kind of furniture on a pro card. It has to go through P2P because procurement has to ensure that it meets certain ergonomic standards for per the campus. And those are standards that safety and risk management establish. Um, so that's why a chair and any kind of furniture has to go through P2P. Does that answer your question?
Yes,
Okay.
kind of.
Uh-huh.
But also, for example, what is termed furniture and what is termed not furniture? I'll give you a very specific example.
Sure. Okay.
So we had a trailer that was modified to be our box office, basically.
Oh yeah, the one in the back. Got it.
Yeah, and so we use the baseball and soccer and stuff, but
Hmm.
it was broken. And so we had to do just tables and tents, and we had evening events,
Hmm.
and I had no light. So I went and I bought a little $10 floor lamp at Walmart so that I would have light. Um, would that be considered a little floor lamp be considered furniture? Like no one's sitting in it, but it's like furniture as in like if this was in your living room, you'd probably call it furniture.
Hmm.
And I don't know. Like it just seems like if I were to have to go through this process for like a little $10 floor lamp so I could have light, seems complicated
Yeah.
versus pro card.
That would not be considered furniture. I would say um, when in doubt, email Procard or procurement, and we can help you navigate because that would not be considered furniture. That's okay to purchase on a Procard. That's all good. You can totally do that. We're talking more like a chair, a desk, like a metal cabinet, stuff like that. A lamp that can be purchased on a Procard. But if you're ever like, I'm not sure about this, I don't know, it's better to ask before you purchase it than to just do it. You know what I mean? So email Procard, email procurement, and we'll be like, yeah, you can, or no, you can't. And we're very good about responding quickly to those kind of questions. But that lamp you're talking about, no, that can go on Procard. That's totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Good question, though. I get what you're saying. You're like, yeah, and we definitely help you navigate those roads. Like, we will help you with that.
I mean, I'm just gonna do it all wrong and blame Wendy.
Uh-oh, Wendy. Uh-oh.
You
And I
know,
get and I get where you're coming from. Like, my best advice to you, and I know you're gonna be like, ugh, is to read the Pro Card Handbook. Because it'll tell you like these are the prohibited items. You can't buy this stuff on a Pro Card. Just if you could read like that section. If you can't read the whole thing, just read that section. That will tell you like this is the stuff that's El Prohibitado. You can't buy this on a Pro Card. If you can't read the whole thing, just read that section. That will help like steer you. And then if you're not sure, just email us and we will help you.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
just some of us are diving in a little more than others because
I know.
I was gonna make like a full transition, but then I didn't. So I'm kind of like only a portion of these job responsibilities. So
I
I was
know.
of the mindset of digesting that information. So we're on the same page in terms of that.
Yeah. And we're here to help. Like I know this is like a lot in a short period of time. You guys are just kind of getting like thrown into it. Like we're here to help you guys. Like if you don't know, just ask us. Just shoot us a Teams message or something. Like we'll help you. We're here to help. We're
Well,
here
that's
to
good to
support
know
you.
that you're very like, so does that mean that you're responsive outside of business hours and on weekends and nights and stuff? Because if I
Is that your
need,
hours?
if it's like 6 p.m. on a Thursday and I remember, oh shoot, I have a game tomorrow night and I don't have a light, I'm gonna swing by Walmart tonight and pick it up before I go into work tomorrow. But if I don't get a response at like
Mm-hmm.
6 p.m., 7 p.m. at night,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to like wait around and have to make a trip during the day tomorrow. So that might
Yeah.
be like a very specific example of like
So,
asking how responsive are you guys?
like I have Teams on my phone and I have my phone on me like 24 hours a day. Um, I'm in the doctorate program, so I have class from 9 to 3 here at CSUB. So like if you shoot me a Teams, like I'm pretty responsive. Email, like I would say like shoot me a Teams. I don't check my email like every second of the day, but if you shoot me a Teams and I'm in class, I will respond. I'm not saying it'll be like 2 seconds later, but I'll respond. Like I will respond to you. And if I don't know the answer, I will find the answer for you. But I pretty much am knowledgeable. Like I know a lot of stuff. So like if you shoot me a Teams, I'll get back to you. Pretty much like this is attached. It's like my an extension of my arm. So
So I put the furniture policy link in our
mm,
chat.
thank you,
So
Julie.
it kind of gives you a little bit more
Hmm.
details about what furniture is, if you feel, need some clarification on that. Um, so if there's no other questions on the goods and services form, we look back at the box folder to see what other forms that I have.
Julie just rode past that. She's like, don't try contacting me outside of office hours. And she said, my phone is not glued to my hip.
I know. I'm like, I'll probably respond, but I don't know. That's funny. I stay busy. Okay, so we can go ahead and do an IT hardware request. I think everybody on campus uses that form. So let's see. I'm gonna share my screen again. Has any of you done an IT hardware request yet?
I've done support, but not hardware.
Okay. Um, support like software?
Yes. Or
Okay.
that's what I meant, software, not support.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. Well, the IT hardware one is similar to the software. Has Carolina or Parker, have you did an IT hardware request yet?
No, I haven't.
No? Okay. Okay, no problem. So then this will be good for everybody. Are you seeing, am I sharing my screen yet? No.
And the good thing about
Okay.
P2P is like it's repetitive. So like the first form you saw, this will be like kind of the same. It's just answering different questions. So you got the base down. Now we're just going to answer different questions and do it again.
Yes.
Okay, we're seeing
So,
your quote right now. Oh,
oh, are you still seeing the quote?
no, now we're seeing P2P. You're good.
Okay. So I have the quote open for an Apple proposal, and that's in that box folder. So this quote particularly has, it says it has 4 lines, but there's a recycling fee that is an extra line charge in the quote, but it's not a quote line number. So we're going to make that recycling fee its own line as well. So we'll have 5 lines on this. So for this one, since it's hardware, we're going to click the IT hardware request box. Same thing like the other forms, it has instructions on the first tab. Click next. Supplier is Apple. Okay, so that came up. I'm going to go ahead and do an XMP again. So I have my shopping persona on. The type of request is a new requisition for this one. Do you have a campus IT number? I don't believe I do. So this proposal that Apple put together was received from the IT department. So I had to reach out to the IT department to get the quote for this iPad. Now I have the Apple quote and I'm putting in this requisition. There should be an IT number on the email from IT, but if I don't have it, I could just say no. So we're getting hardware, brief justification. I'll just put anything for now. And this is not a sole source. I do have documentation. So the first line was $1,899. We're getting one each of this iPad. I'm just gonna put iPad on here without all the copy and paste. Okay, so that was for line one. So we're gonna do multiple lines. So as I was mentioning earlier, I'm gonna click the drop down menu, save to cart, and add another. So that 1,899 went into my cart, my shopping cart. You can see at the top right hand side, the dollar amount is listed next to this picture of a shopping basket. But now the same form is is here. This is line two. So everything is going to be the same for each of these forms, each of these tabs. The same information that I already put is still in here. So in this situation, I want to keep the same information except for the line details of the second line. So here, the second line is going to be the recycling fee of $4. So $4 each recycling fee. Save progress, click next. And now I'm going to put save to cart and add another for line three. And same thing here on line three. I'll just come into this cost details tab. Tell me if I'm going too fast. And erase the stuff that's already in here so I can put in line three. Line three was $229 each for a 4-year Apple Care plan. Save progress. Next. So now I have line four. Save to cart and add another. It's kind of difficult to know what line you're on by having to do this. Um, so I'm sorry about that, but that's just how it is. Um, which
Just
line
a
am I on?
clarity here.
Yep.
Uh-huh,
You just kind of listed how it is on the invoice, like, because that Apple Care thing,
uh-huh.
I noticed that theoretically you could take that 229 and put quantity 4 and then change the unit of measure per year and do the division.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if that's more accurate or if you just straight up want it to like reflect what's on the invoice, because it's a 4-year
Right.
plan and theoretically it's 229 divided by 4 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could do it either way. The data is going to be like this quote is going to be attached in the requisition. So we'll still have the information that's listed on here. Um, I don't know if like accounting has any kind of concern on how it is written out. Um,
Well,
but
maybe if like
yeah.
because I could see it also like if the invoice was different and it said like 1 year Apple Care,
Hmm.
whatever that amount is times four, then maybe you list
Right.
year times four.
So when the invoice comes, you so we've always entered it as for your Apple Care plan, and that's how we've done it from the jump. So this is how it's always been done. And this is how we've trained everybody to do it because the
Mhm.
invoice comes in for your Apple Care plan. So we've taught everybody enter it as for your Apple Care plan because the invoice comes in that way for your Apple Care plan. So we're trying to just have it be like requisition matches the invoice, apples, apples, apples. So that's how we've always just trained everybody to enter it. Because at the invoice state, it comes in literally saying for your Apple Care plan. So it reflects requisition, it reflects the invoice. I, I hope that helps.
Yeah, I just didn't want to make I just didn't want to, conflict with
Uh-huh.
how you guys have been doing it. If in the future a different products thing comes in different
Mm,
and it comes in like 1 year
mm,
times four versus like
I see.
should we revert it to this format? Should we just use it however it's listed,
Yeah.
even
We
though it's
mhm.
conflicting?
We kind of just train people like make it look as close to the quote as possible because that's in theory how the invoice should come. So
Hmm.
that's how we've trained people to do it is like make it match the quote.
Yeah, it typically will
Hmm.
come in the same way that it's
Hmm.
written on the quote.
Hmm.
And since we're making one payment for the whole full year, 4 years, I think that's why they have it listed as quantity one
Hmm.
with that one unit price because we're just paying that one price for the full four
4 years.
years. Yeah. But if we were paying like separate, we're paying annually or something like
Hmm.
that, then they might have like a yearly price
Yeah.
that adds up to for like the 4 year plan or whatever. But in this case, yeah, I think Apple usually just you pay for that whole 4 year as a package up front. So they have it listed this way. Um, I think I'm not sure if I'm still on that 4 year plan or if I'm supposed to be on the Apple Pencil now.
And this is what I tell people, like as you're entering these, like either check them off or highlight it off because as Julie
Hmm.
is saying, like it's very hard to know where you're at as you're entering these because like you have to be like saving
Hmm.
save to cart add another going to the cost details like it's very like da, like so and if you
Yes.
get interrupted like you're kind of like
Like, where was I?
yeah, so I'd be like checking these off or highlighting these off as I'm entering them
Yes.
because it gets a little weird with this setup, how they have it. And there's nothing we can really do about it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So when I click on here, it shows these three lines. So I'm assuming these three lines are already in my cart. So that would mean I'm on line four. So line four is $119 for the Apple Pencil. So hopefully this will be right. Then I'll click next and save to cart and add another because I have one more line. So I'm just gonna see. Yeah, 4 lines. So one more line, $329, and that's for some magic keyboard. Save progress. Next. And it's my last line. So now I'll just click add and go to cart. Okay. So if I scroll down, I can see all 5 lines are here. The numbers are corresponding on the left side, they're real small. And I'll do the same thing like I did on the last form. Complete in the delivered to location, which I don't have any specific place, so I'll just put that at Cardo Center. Rename the cart, so iPad for staff, whoever it is. And there's nothing else that I need to change except
Commodity codes.
take off this tax on the recycling fee and the Apple Care plan, right? I don't
It's not
remember.
taxable.
Okay. And the commodity code for which one, Bianca?
Um, so technically those like the Apple Pencil and the keyboard are not IT hardware, those are IT accessories.
Okay, so to change that to IT accessories, then I'll click on this magnifying glass where the keyboard is, commodity code. Click here, then I can go to the IT and IT accessories is what she recommended. So save that.
Mm-hmm.
So it changed here. Same thing with the pencil. So by changing this commodity code, it will also change the account number associated with line 4 and 5.
Okay, scroll up.
Mhm.
The for your Apple Care plan, I would make that go to IT. Yeah.
Software maintenance. Okay.
Or wait, hold on. Go back.
Oh, where to go? Apple Care Plan.
I would do that as hardware maintenance.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
okay.
Okay, and then go up. iPad. Yes, now you're good. Um, does that make sense, guys, why we're changing it? Because the actual like iPad is hardware, but everything that goes along with it would not be hardware. It's an accessory because like the keyboard is an accessory to the hardware. D does that make sense? Yeah.
I mean, it does,
hmm
but just changing that commodity code then change your account number?
Yes, because remember on the first training we said the commodity code will dictate what your account code is.
What if I'm
Yep.
what if I'm seeing historical data and it doesn't show that differentiation? And we want to keep it from a budgeting perspective, we want to keep it consistent.
Just because we did something in the past doesn't mean we should do that now. Because if technically IT hardware is a laptop, not a keyboard. A keyboard is an accessory. It's not hardware. This is not hardware. This is not a hardware is an iPad. Hardware is something that actually stores data. This does not store data. You have to look at it that way. Like this does not store data. This is an accessory to what stores data.
Yeah, no, I understand the concept. I just didn't know if there were like exceptions from the way the processes that existed before, because before this, I was pretty heavy-handed in terms of like analyzing all the
Mm-hmm.
budgetary data
Mm-hmm.
across our different departments,
Mm-hmm.
i.e. sports.
Yeah.
And I was seeing, consistent count numbers being used, but I would see like IT hardware over 5,000, IT hardware under 5,000, but I wasn't seeing all these other adjacent IT related account codes. And so I didn't know from a budgetary perspective if becoming more detailed at some point would disrupt a budgeting process.
Mm, mm. Um, I can tell you that I have discussed this with Liz Gammas, and she is aware that we are coding things this way and is in support of it, if that helps. because I feel like we should be this detailed in how we are coding things, and she is supportive of it. And she is saying, and she has said, like, yes, we should be this detailed in how we code things.
What if somebody, coach,
Yes.
were to jump the gun
Uh-huh.
and purchase something like this
Uh-huh.
on a pro card,
Uh-huh.
and when you do your pro card reconciliation, you can only put in one account number per receipt. At what point do you then try and revise that to differentiate multiple accounts under the same pro card charge? Or do you not bother because there's only one account string applicable to one receipt in that part?
Right. I can only speak to P2P because this allows us the functionality to do that. I cannot speak to a pro card, you know?
Okay. Yeah, just thinking of the common situations that might happen.
Yeah.
Because then
Yeah.
you've got, you can be consistent in one area and then be consistent in the other, but those aren't consistent with
Mhm.
themselves. Yeah.
Right. I know.
Yes, imperfections always.
I know. Sorry.
So, any other questions before I turn this shopping cart into a requisition?
Well, and say like on that thing where you were checking taxable, not taxable, like if you
Hmm.
didn't know which things were
Hmm.
taxable, not taxable, you would just play around with it until you found the matching amount.
I do, yeah,
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah, because you want to try to get it so Apple will match your quote to the penny. Like if you are so we know that the Apple Care is not taxable. And so we know to tell you like make that not taxable. And your Apple will match literally to the penny. We can get it to the penny to match your quote. Dell
Hmm.
will never be exact. Like it will always be slightly over your quote, which is fine. Don't freak out. It will always be like a little bit higher than your quote. So don't think like, oh my gosh, it's going to get rejected. The buyer's going to push it back and be like, it's not exact. Because the taxes are a little bit off. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Um, and if you want, we can like help walk you through your first Dell like requisition, but it will never match exactly to the penny.
Okay, I'm glad
Apple,
I asked that
yeah.
because like I would be like scratching my head like, oh my
I
gosh, I
can't
need
figure
I
it
need to get
out.
this to match. How do I get this to match,
Yes, your Dell will
Hmm.
never match right on. Apple will, and Julie will show you. She'll get it right to the penny.
Yeah,
Sorry,
this is
Julie.
right. This is exactly to the penny. So if you have the quote open, you can see that it's 193.63 for the sales tax, and that's after we took off these two taxable lines. And is it okay to proceed? Yep. Okay. So then we'll proceed to checkout. And I'll scroll down. It looks like I still need to put in the chart field strings, and that's why this error message is coming up on the right-hand side under the summary where it shows a purple ribbon that says draft. So I still need to put in my business unit, fund, and my debt ID. So I can go in and click the pencil for the first line, and I'll go ahead and just put in a chart field string here. I'll just put in anything for now. And I was trying to look for my copy button. Okay, so I'll save that first line. And I don't want to have to go in and keep doing it for all the lines since it's the same information. So what I'm going to do is copy it to the other lines by pressing this button that looks like papers. Um, Obviously, I don't want to copy this account number because that should be automatically populated based on the commodity codes. And I know I have two different ones in here. So I'm just going to take the check marks off of all of these and just leave it on business unit, fund, and debt ID. And I'm going to apply it to all the lines. And I did that by clicking that check mark here or the box and made all these check marks. So, oops, copy. Okay, so now I have no more error messages. So it looks like it all copied through. So I have everything here. The only thing I have left to do is my attachment. So you just go into the attachments. I'm just gonna pick anything. Drop or attach your file and save. And then from there, I'll put submit request. I'm gonna not press it this time, so I
Julie,
don't have to withdraw.
can you just show them like how to add a comment, like if they needed to comment to somebody for some reason?
Sure. Um, so if you needed to add a comment or maybe put in another attachment after you've already sent it, you could do that in the comment section. So you just push the plus sign and you could type in your note here. Uh, when you before you submit the requisition, it won't let you add your comment to another person. But after you've submitted your requisition, there's an option that will appear here where my mouse is at. It'll say add recipient. So when you click on add recipient, you can find anybody that has P2P access and include them so they can get a copy of the message that you're adding into this comment box.
We'll show you how to do one like in a voucher step later. Sorry.
And no problem. And then you can click on this check mark so that way the message can be saved or sent to the document and to whoever it is that you've added as a recipient. Any other questions or things that you think we should go over, Bianca, for this?
No, this one's good unless anybody else has any questions on this.
No? Okay, perfect. Let's see. So then we can go ahead and go over another form. Um, what do we have
Next one
here?
on the agenda is hospitality.
Okay, okay.
Um, I'm gonna preface this before you start. Is that
Mhm.
okay?
Please do. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Let me preface this really quick because we get a lot of questions about hospitality outside of P2P and hospitality in P2P and what is the difference. So let me just explain this really quick. Okay. So, okay. Hospitality outside of P2P. Okay. So, a hospitality justification form and paying with your pro card. Okay. So if you guys are having a meeting and you're just going to Panera and you're picking up like some sandwiches and you're going to Panera, picking it up, bringing it back. Okay, that can be done with a hospitality justification form and it can be paid via Pro Card. Okay, that that has not changed. Okay, so the difference between a hospitality request in P2P, this is being used, for example, like we had the Bass breakfast this week. Hotels came on campus, they were serving. Like they had the chafing dishes, they came on campus and they were actually like serving. They were catering, okay? So that would be when you would put this into a hospitality request in P2P. That's the example. Why it has to be done is because procurement has to vet. Do we have a health permit for hotels? Do we have their insurance on file? Because what happens if hotels caters and then everybody gets food poisoning, right? That's why that request has to go into P2P. Okay. So it's if the supplier is coming on campus and is serving, that is when that request needs to go into P2P. If you're just going to Subway or Panera or whatever, and you're going and picking up stuff, that is a hospitality justification form, and that is Pro Card. Does that make sense? Does that help define the two? Any questions? Good? Okay, proceed.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't know if
Go ahead.
you said this. Uh,
Mhm.
Delivery, like if the representatives are delivering something,
As
and
as
dropping off.
if they are just dropping it off, like I'm dropping off some box lunches and they're just dropping it off, that's fine. That's a hospitality justification form, and that can be paid on Pro Card. If they are actually like bringing out chafing dishes and they're like serving the food, that's different. Does that make sense? Like if they're actually like setting it up, serving the food, there's higher risk in that. Make sense? Okay. Like if
All
they're just
right.
literally dropping and leaving, we're good.
And
Awesome.
even if they're just dropping off materials that equate to setting it up. So what if the little tins and the little tin holders and the little candle thingies that you would usually see in a hospitality setup, what if they drop off those materials alongside their food, but it's up to us to set that up? Because I do see that all the time with some of our vendors. They actually drop off extra tins and the little frames that the tins go in and
Hmm.
the little candle heaters that go underneath, but they don't set them up and they don't put them out. And
Hmm.
we do that.
Yeah. So,
That seems to me like it would be more of a drop off situation, regular
yeah,
hospital justification. We're doing the maintenance.
as long as these people are not staying on campus, opening up the food and serving, then you're okay. Like we still have to, but we still have to make sure that we have health permits on file. So that one gets a little, you're borderline right there. Like you're kind of borderline. Like as long as like that is okay as long as those employees are not staying on campus, opening up containers and serving. That's the line. That is the line. As long as that line is not being crossed, then you're fine. That's the line. So I trust you. I trust you. Like that's being dropped off. In that scenario, what you're explaining to me is they're dropping everything off and you are the one to our staff are the ones going from there. That's the narrative. Hmm.
What happens when it's like just a trade situation, or like because we do an abundance of trade that gets written off as donations from these places, and then they come and work our hospitality, but there's no sort of, well, there's probably some sort of paperwork in regards to the donation, yeah, you know, in kind donation, um, but there's no like actual bill, monetary. I'm assuming there's some sort of insurance process alongside of that as well, but it might be outside of this.
We would still have to make sure, and Wayne can help me with this. Like, we would still have to ensure that we have a health permit on file because, again, the scenario, what if you fed a bunch of people on campus and then all those people got food poisoning, right? We are liable for that because it's on our campus. You see what I'm saying? So, like, we as CSUB have to ensure that we are covering ourselves for that liability. So,
Yeah, I'm sure these are conversations that other people that are more involved with the stuff have had with you guys. I'm just thinking of it because I know that scenario exists. Because like our men's basketball hospitality at our games, a lot of times we have trade partners come in and serve in that hospitality. So I'm assuming Sarah Tui and University Advancement has, gets all that
Yeah.
paperwork on file for in-kind donations for
I
the.
mean, I would hope so, but you would be surprised
Yeah.
what does not get to the right places. You know what I mean?
Actually, I mean, none of that ever happens, and this conversation didn't happen.
Okay. I just want to make sure you guys know the difference between what needs to go into P2P on this form and what can go on a pro card. As long as we're good with that, we can move forward. We good?
Okay.
Yeah? Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and share the screen. So we're going to go ahead and do the hospitality request form for hotels. And then again, has the instructions of what are examples you use this for and what you do not. And I'll type in the supplier to look for. And since they are here, click on next. So again, you have to answer all the questions that have a star at the end. Please check the hospitality request type, refer to the hospitality policy on what is allowable. So in this case, I believe that we're doing, open, see this a little bit better. We're doing some type of, what is this? Dinner? So catering? I don't know if we pick more than one. No, we just pick one. So catering, please check what type of event it's for. So do we have something on here? Graduation recognition, so student recognition, maybe? Okay. Anybody want to provide some justification I can type in here? I'll just put graduate recognition again.
I was going to say new student orientation, but you can go with that.
Oh, okay.
Whatever you want.
Oh, it says camp. I was just looking at what's on the quote. Event name. It's about the same thing. It looks like, is this a single day? Starts at 5, ends at 8. Looks like it's for a single day event. And I'll just pick in a day in the future. It's not a required field, so you don't have to put it in there. There is more than 5 people. And we're going to be having dinner. That's on here. Provide the cost per person per dinner. And did it say $60? Or, oh, 22.75. Is catering provided by CSU or CSU Auxiliary? No. Save progress.
So as you can see, as she's filling this out, this is kind of like a hospitality justification form. It's just in P2P.
Mhm. Okay, and now I'm on the cost details page. I do have a quote, so I'll put yes. And I'll start with the first line item. So this one has 70, oh, I'm sorry, unit price 22.75 times 70 each. And that's for the private line dinner. Save progress. It's been a while since I've done this. Sorry, guys. Okay. It looks like I have more than one line. So again, instead of add and go to cart, save to cart and add another. What? Cannot add this item. Oh, I forgot about the IT hardware request. I have to close this out.
That's okay. She's just training you how to do it.
Okay, try that again. Save to cart and add another. Okay, perfect. Now that line one saved, I see it's right here, and I'm on line two.
And see, the system has a built-in fail-safe. Like it won't let you combine forms. So it won't let you do that. So
Mhm.
I like that about P2P as well.
So I have a couple of other things on here. Looks like a podium and microphone, a wireless lapel mic, and I also have some gratuity. Mm, Okay, so 1592.50 was the food, and then I have equipment is $60. So this one will be the equipment line. And I'm just going to put lot on here instead of each. And the reason that I'm putting lot is because this charge for $60, it might be less than $60. I'm not sure because what if I don't use the equipment? So I'm going to go ahead and put $60 for now because that's what it says on the quote. And I'm going to put it for lot so that way there could be multiple payments against this line if there is more than one invoice on it. So here I put equipment and one more line, save to cart and add another, and this will be the gratuity to 38.88 gratuity. And since that's my last line, I'll press add and go to cart.
So
Okay.
with that lot thing,
Mhm.
um, you're doing that just because they we may or may not use an item, or maybe they forget it at the place and
Yeah, the
we don't use
reason
it. Like, how are we supposed to know when to do lot and when to do
It
itemized?
it's better to do anything that's a service as a lot because it keeps the line open as we're applying payments to it. Like I would not do anything like service related as each. I would always do services as a lot. Does that make sense? Because they might do multiple invoices for services, or it may go above or below the amount. It might not be exact. So lot just helps payment services be able to apply the payments. Um, lot is just something that's better to use for anything that's services related. Does that help answer your question?
Well, then like rental equipment is considered a service.
Correct. Go
yeah,
ahead,
so
Julie.
on here, for that $60, it was an item that was 15 and an item that was 45 that was being used. So since there was more than one item, but it's a one charge, so it's one charge of 60, but it's really broken down into multiple payments because there's different charges. That's why I decided to put lot because I combined the different charges together. And if one of them doesn't get paid, then they can make a partial payment on it instead of paying the full amount. Um, so that's also in conjunction with what Bianca was trying to explain.
Because we
Um,
might get like one invoice for the 15 first. They'll have to pay that. And
mhm.
then get a second invoice for the for the 40 like for the second payment. So it's better to do those as a lot because it keeps the line open
Hmm.
for payment services. Lots, a lot keeps the line open. It's kind of tricky to explain, but because I'm not getting a service for one of each of a service. Does that make sense? I'm getting a lot amount of a service.
Hmm.
Like it's not a quantity. A service is not a quantity. Does that make sense? Like I'm not ordering five each of a service. A service is a service. It's not a quantity of something that I order. Does that help?
I mean, kind of, but within that service, you can tell them how much quantity you need of each. So
You you can, but
Yes.
um for this training scenario, it's better to just enter it as a lot. Just correlate it with a lot helps keep this line open to help pay it. That's the best way I can explain it for you guys.
Yes. Because
Mm.
once that one, the each is paid,
Then it
it
closes.
closes it out. But if you have a lot, then it says like, okay, well, some of it is paid, some of it's not. It's okay. But if you say each, then it's like, oh, you said you had one, you paid for that one, it's over.
Then it's
There's
done.
no more, there's no more lot, there's no more nothing.
Hmm.
yeah, I'm just gonna move forward under the assumption like if we're keeping what we're ordering, then I can do line item by line item. But if we're
Uh-huh.
renting equipment and it's just they're providing us X number and they're taking it back, then just do a lot.
Yeah, that might be because just in case like your numbers change, like, oh,
Hmm.
we actually needed three microphones or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah.
Um, okay, so then from here, I'll proceed to check out because I've already entered in my three lines. Um, I don't know if my numbers match up. It looks like I might need to take the taxes off of the gratuity. I believe
Yeah,
it's this one.
I'm not sure if I'm jumping the gun here, but
Uh-huh.
like we're putting this in ahead of time, right? Or are we putting this in afterwards?
In advance.
Okay, so this is a
Yes.
quote and we're putting it in advance.
Yes.
And so let's say that situation does happen and last minute we need three microphones and that $60 lot turns into a $90 lot. Like are
Yes.
adjustments that are made afterwards and since the dollar amounts aren't going to match up.
That's going to be a change request, and that's going to be in session 3. That because we know that those scenarios happen, and you do have the ability to change that because, yeah, like stuff's going to happen where, oh, we have more attendees, we're going to need more food, or we're going to need more microphones or whatever. So I want to get through all the like all the different requisitions first. Then we're going to ramp up, and then we're going to show you change requests. But that you will have the ability to do that. I just want to get through all the different requisitions first, and then we'll ramp up to that.
So is it expectation that all of this stuff like 100% needs to be done in advance and approved and stuff like that? Or what if we're just in such a predicament with one person running an event in terms of sales and operations and like you don't have time to do this? Like you've arranged it, you've gotten the paperwork, you know you've done what you need to do, but I don't have time to hop in the system and do all this paperwork ahead of time. I just need to sell the tables now and fill the event. Like, what if you don't have time to do this ahead of time of the event?
Hi, Deb. I see you, Deb.
Hmm.
Okay. Uh, mm, okay. Again, we go back to the scenario. This, if you are bringing people on, I get it. Like everybody has their things and everybody's short-staffed and all this stuff, right? So I'm gonna say my piece and I'm gonna tell you the way we should be doing it. And then I'm gonna let it go. So we should be putting everything through this before it happens because as an institution, we have to be ensuring that we are protecting CSUB, right? So if we're bringing vendors on campus to fix a pipe or serve food or do all of these things, procurement has to be ensuring that we have health permits on file, we have insurance on file, because what if something happens? What if one of these workers falls and breaks their ankle or their leg? Or what if we serve food and the whole event gets food poisoning? Then we're going to end up on the news, right? Um, so at the end of the day, like we have to be ensuring that we're protecting CSUB's name because we are liable. If anybody comes on this campus and something happens, we are liable. And then our name's going to be all over the place and bad press and all of these things. So it's our responsibility to be making sure that we are protecting our name and we are protecting this institution. That's the whole point of procurement. That's the whole point of why we are asking you to put all this stuff in beforehand. Because at the end of the day, if something happens, it's on us.
Yeah, and I'm just running through hypotheticals.
I get it.
You use the buzzword on campus. Does any of that this differentiate if this is an off-campus event that we are hosting as an institution, but it's being hosted at an off-campus facility, or is it
If we're
same
hosting,
attitude?
if we're hosting stuff off campus, the majority of the time, we have to sign a contract to rent that venue. And so, yes, there's liability in that too, because we have to sign a contract. And so there's only certain people that can sign contracts on behalf of the university. That's Marina Manzano. So yes, we have to do our due diligence. And I know I'm sorry, you guys, but I have to say this stuff because it's important. Like we are liable for this stuff.
Yeah, and I don't know enough about the inner workings of some of the stuff that I've been part of before.
Hmm.
Like my mind jumps to the hot stove dinner that we host at the
We sign
fairground.
agreements for that stuff
Yeah.
because I've been a part of that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I know I'm like a downer, but it's like we there's a lot of risk involved in a lot of these things. So, okay, go ahead, Julie.
Okay. So I'm gonna one more time go ahead and just enter in. I'm actually putting this at the header, but I'm not gonna put anything in this account number field because that should be auto-populated on each line. So I don't know if that will make it go to all my lines. Let's see. Fund debt ID. Yes, fund debt ID. Okay, perfect. So what I did is just enter the chart field streams up here on top, and it ended up working that it populated in all the lines for the business unit fund and debt ID. And it looks like there's no issues right here on the right. I have my quote attached, and this is ready to go. Is there any questions on this? You could see there is a catering review as part of the workflow in this IT hardware. So under hospitality, Heather or Wayne would be part of that um, catering review process, as this is routed after the DOA approval and before procurement reviews. Is there any questions on this hospitality form? Okay, if there's no questions, then I'll delete this and we can go over the next one for direct pay. So go ahead and delete this cart. Okay, so the direct pay form will be found in the same area. It looks like athletics does a lot of direct pays.
Can I say something else? You're
Yeah,
gonna kill me. I'm so sorry.
no, why would I? We need you to explain whatever you
Oh
can,
man.
whatever you need to.
Okay. So I talked to Marina yesterday, and I know that athletics has been doing direct pays for all of the table workers, and we're gonna change the process on this. Um, so the table workers moving forward will be done on an independent contractor form, which we will teach you in the next session.
Okay.
And
So,
by table workers, you're
yes,
specifying those like single event workers, such as the scoring table people, like maybe some of the camera people that we use,
mainly Kyle's
broadcasting,
people,
Kyle and Isaac's people.
correct.
This doesn't include anything with like the student workers, like the
No, students do not get paid through P2P. Staff and students do not go through P2P. Those are reimbursements outside of P2P. So, if you click on the direct pay request form, Julie,
Mhm. Here.
a direct pay is specifically for these things. So it should really only be for invoices that are for these specific things, like a membership. I know you guys pay for a lot of memberships that are affiliated with certain things, like um, NCAA, stuff like that. Um, so this is stuff that is for invoices that are not related to services at all. Um, so that is why we do not want um, table workers going through DPs because a table worker is a service. Does that make sense? Okay. So we'll show you the example of a direct pay, and then we will go over independent contractor in session 3.
so
So that,
how
yep.
does the service of a official or referee payment differ?
Say that one more time.
So like you're saying,
Mm.
why is an official slash referee payment still a direct pay versus a team? Because they're like in essence they're a single game
I
service.
don't necessarily agree that an official referee payment should be a direct pay, and that's something that we are working with the chancellor's office to remove from this. Because an official referee payment should go under independent contractor, and that is something that we discussed in the P2B advisor P2P advisory board committee this morning.
Okay, yeah, I know Eddie's having some fun going through the P2P process for officials and referees.
So that was brought up in the advisory board committee this morning. And when we get to independent contractor in session 3, we'll explain what an independent contractor is and why this form is what it is and why it goes through HR review, such and such. We'll explain all that in session 3. Go ahead, Julie.
Okay. So the sample that I have to put in is, what is this? Um, it looks like a telephone bill or something for AT&T. Am I on the right one? Yeah, direct pay form.
Yes, correct, because that's technically a utility.
Okay, perfect. So that falls under the utilities. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put in CalNet, it says. Nope, that's not it.
I think it's
AT&T?
under one of the AT&Ts.
AT&T? Let's see. Okay, so there's several AT&Ts. I'm not sure exactly which one the right one
Just
is.
use the first one for the sake of the training scenario.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is for utilities, telecommunications. The invoice date is April 19th, 2024. It's a required field. The invoice number, you want to put that on there. 34 2157-8895. And please acknowledge that you have proper attachments to upload. Yes, I do. Save progress and press next. So this one has only one charge on here for $320.10. And I think I should be able to just put each on here. Um, Current charges. I don't see any other description. Let's put current charges. Next. We only have one line, so add and go to cart.
Quick question that I'm seeing on here,
Yes.
because it's not part of these line items,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
there's like credit. So like, what if there's a line item that says like $500, and then there's a line item that says like credit of $100?
Mhm.
Like, do we just put in a line item of $400, or do we have to put in two line items and you can put in one as a credit?
I would not worry about the credit. Payment services will do that, like will worry about that for you. Because they are the ones that are ticking and tying all of that.
So then are you going to enter the $500 amount and ignore the
Just
credit?
enter the total amount that is currently due. Don't
Do.
worry about
Okay.
credits. Just enter what is currently due, and
Okay.
payment services will take it from there. hmm You're asking really good questions, Parker. I like it.
I'll do what I can.
Perfect. So it doesn't look like there's anything else that needs to be done on this page. I already updated the cart name and then proceed to checkout. Try that again. All right. And my chart field string is in here. It's non-taxable. I have an attachment. And I don't think there's anything else that needs to be done. Pretty simple. Any questions about this process? You can see from the direct pay form, it's a little bit different on the workflow compared to the requisitions for goods and services. Um, the direct pay forms do not go through procurement. So that procurement review is missing in the workflow for direct pays. They're basically direct pays already have an invoice. There's nothing procurement really needs to do at this point. The supplier just needs to get paid. So this direct pay form skips the whole procurement review on this workflow. Is there any other questions or concerns on direct pay forms?
I guess one question. I noticed the document we're working off of is a monthly statement.
Mhm.
Assuming you get a monthly statement every month, aren't direct pays more like one-offs versus something you would want to set up a blanket PO for that monthly statements would eat into?
So yes, you can do a blanket PO if you know you are getting a monthly invoice for this. I recommend doing that versus doing a direct pay every month. If you know that my, you know, invoice is roughly blah 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 a month, you can do a direct pay and then just attach your invoice every month, which we're going to go over that in session 3. I would recommend doing that versus doing this direct pay route. Um, we're going to cover that with you in session 3. That would be my recommendation. But we just want to show you um a direct pay for the sake of you're only going to get one membership invoice a year. So there will be scenarios where you'll have to do this. But yes, if you're getting monthly bills, then yes, do a blanket PO, get that out of the way. You're only having to upload the invoice once a month instead of having to do this repeatedly every month. Good call out.
And blanket POs, can they
Mm.
only be annually? Like one, are they on a 1 year basis? Like if you know you're going to get billed for this every single year, are there POs or blanket POs that extend beyond a year? Or is it
Only if it's tied to a contract that is more than 1 year, and Julie and I can show you how to do that, but you would have to disencumber the funds every year and then re-encumber them. We can definitely walk you through that. But if it's just like for supplies or something like that, it's only allowed to be for 1 year. Um, but we can if you have a contract that's like 3 years, we can show you how to do it like fiscal year one, fiscal year two, fiscal year three, but you would have to like we would show you how to do that. That
okay?
you're
Yeah,
yeah, you're
I've got one of those like that with our audience view ticketing system is a 3 year thing, but I've never actually like done this type of the side of the work.
yeah, we can definitely show you how to do that. We have done that with like construction where it's going to be like 5 years and we just have to like break it out into lines like year one, two, three, four, five, and then we'll just have to show you how to like disencumber, then open year two, then close it, then open year three, close it. We can definitely walk you through that. No problem.
Good questions.
Yeah. Parker,
Yeah.
good.
Geez, come on, Carolina, where are you at?
Got them all.
Okay.
Right.
So, um, it's 3 o'clock. Um, can you go to the home screen, Jules?
The home screen,
P2P.
box or oh
P2P.
P2P. Okay. I don't think I'm sharing my screen anymore. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's what I think we should do. Scroll down for me. Keep going. Okay. So we've done goods and services, direct pay, IT. So we still need to cover IT software, independent contractor, and that's the last one. Then after that, we have to do voucher approvals. So I think, right, okay, so we would have to do software requests, independent contractor form, which that one's lengthy. Um, so and then voucher approvals and then go over all of our resources. So I feel like we've shown you a lot and I don't want to overwhelm you. So I feel like kind of right now, maybe a good stopping point. And then we pick a time next week to do session three. Um, how do you guys feel about that? Or how do you feel?
Works for me.
I want to hear from Wendy. You're on mute. There you go.
Sorry. I'm good with that.
How do you feel about what we've shown you overall today?
Oh, I feel good. Deb and I have went over a lot of that stuff, and so I feel really good about it. As far as the direct pay, and the only difference was I've done the IT support request instead of the IT hardware request.
Okay.
So, I have a lot of notes, but I feel good. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna have some questions when I have to do it on my own,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I
Okay.
Perfect.
Carolina.
Yes, I am good with all that.
Okay.
I'm like, yes.
And I recorded the first session and I'm recording this session. I just haven't sent them to you yet. So like in case you're going in on your first time, like you can go back and like look at the recording and be like, okay, I'm gonna do this one now. I'm gonna follow through with the video and like do it on my own and like kind of watch the video and go, what I mean? So okay, so what time do we want to do session three next week?
I'm good. We just have. I'm good with any time, honestly. Next week, Deb leaves on Friday. I know the last couple of days, we're gonna try to cram everything in there. So, but I know that there's a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She's trying not to do a lot of stuff on those last 2 days except for cleanup.
Okay. Parker, Carolina, what are you guys thinking?
Yeah, pretty open next week for anything,
Okay.
whatever works for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's right before Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wednesday's no good. We have a game in the middle of the day. Um, Monday afternoon is not great. So avoid Wednesday, avoid Monday afternoon.
How
But
about Tuesday? I'm open, like I'm wide open.
yeah, Tuesday is wide open for me as well as Thursday.
Julie,
Yeah, we could do Tuesday or Thursday.
do we want to keep like the same time slot, 1:30 to
Mm,
3:30?
Sure, on Tuesday?
That
How's that,
works for me.
That works.
Okay.
Parker? Good. Okay. I'll book Tuesday, 1:30 to 3:30.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, guys. I'm just trying to keep it like slow, like, because it's this is a whole system, so it's a lot to like kind of digest.
Oh
I'm not
yeah.
I'm not trying to just be like, let's go, let's freaking go. Like I'm just trying to, you know,
I
Yeah.
mean, with me, it's in one ear, out the other. I'm just gonna rely on Carolina to remember everything.
I'm gonna look at the videos, so
Wait, there's videos? Oh yeah, it's recording. Nice.
okay. So Tuesday, 1:30 to 3:30, we'll meet again, and then we'll just kind of get through the rest of it and again, like we're here. We're not just going to be like, okay, bye. Like we're here. We will, because then we're going to go on break and then you're going to come back and then you're going to be like, wait, like, oh, wait,
hmm
like,
Not remember any of it.
Right. That's why we're kind of like, maybe we should teach them after break because we're
right.
gonna forget.
Yeah.
So, like, we're not going to just be like, peace out, bye. Like, we're here still. So, I just want you guys to know that, like, we're going to be here to help. Okay. So,
The thing about it is like I know like I'm a hands-on type person.
mhm,
So unless I'm actually doing it,
exactly.
and it is hard for me to understand. And so I'm definitely going to be utilizing you guys a lot because again, next week I have Deb for three
Yeah.
days and that's basically it.
And maybe we do a session, like we do a follow-up session where you guys have some requisitions and we're having you drive. And Julie and I are just watching in case you have questions. Like I think that might be a good idea, like we do a session for, where you guys are the ones entering the requisitions and we're just kind of here for help in case you have
Yeah.
questions.
I think it would be I think it would be beneficial for me if it was a requisition that is actual
Yeah,
like
that
an
needed.
actual
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
hmm
So I think that would help me.
Yeah.
Just because like when we do um examples, say something didn't we didn't do it right, then we're not going to know because it was just an
Exactly.
example and it's not. So yeah, I think if I get a requisition, which I'm sure I will, then we could, get on a Zoom like this and
Hmm.
go through it.
Yeah, and how Julie and I can annotate where we're like drawing on the screen. Like we could just be
Yeah,
drawing and be like, no, go here. No, you have to do this. No, do this, do this. So we can definitely do a session four with you guys once you have requisitions ready to go. So you don't feel like you're on your own. Like I
yeah.
think we should do that. Let's do that.
Okay,
Okay?
that works with me.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, then we will see you guys
Awesome.
next week.
Okay. I'll give you some time
Thank you.
back. All
Okay, bye
right.
guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.